So yeah, that able to change off and down. Now as you can see, I've got to do remove them 10. So anyway, let's get it assembled. Right, let's get involved in this rugged, rough-looking Ford Ranger. Now it's proper jacked up. It's got some proper rough paint on it. I think you can hit it with a hammer and it doesn't damage it at all. But yeah, who knows what that is? Let me have a look. That is a Propshaft bearing, and that's what we've got to replace on it. So let's get this vehicle up in the air. Now we've got the vehicle up in the air. The part that, for those who don't know, the part that we need to replace is right in the middle, well, almost in the middle of the prop shaft. It is rubber mounted, so it stops any vibration or something. So what we need to do, get yourself a little marker pen. Whenever you take the prop shaft off, always mark it on the drive flanges of the gearbox and the axle, so you know that everything is going back in line and exactly where it came from. Before we start taking it apart, where's it gone? We get some, we'll be joyful, launch power loop plus. I absolutely swear by this stuff. And we're going to give all the bolts and all the fixtures a little bit of a squirtaroonie. Now let's remove the prop shaft itself, but what I like to use is these little wobblies by Lexavon. They're absolutely insane. They're ideal for doing prop shafts and bell housings and stuff. Luckily enough, that everything is 17mm. We can just buzz them all. Buzz them all off. Oh, drop one. Right, let's work our way forward now and get it off the gearbox. Where's my button gone? Now I've got the prop shaft in the vise. Now to replace the centre bearing, what we need to do is separate the prop shaft itself, take a rear from the front, and we've got to remove this RD splicer or universal joint, whatever you want to call it. Now to do it, cleaning everything is going to be your best friend. Get your wire brush and give everything a good cleaneroonie so it's nice and shiny. Get some Launch Power Loop Plus, and we're going to get this little circlip out, use it if it will. I might have to just get a bit of a, no, I'm going to have to get a bit of a tapper, a bit of a chisel, and just break them free. Now I need to turn 180 degrees and do the same to the other side. Now you don't need to go too hard with them, just a gentle little tap just to break them free. And then they should then come out. Be careful because they will pop out of the way. And there you go. Now to separate these RD splicers, you can use a vise and 2 sockets either side. But if you've got a ball joint separator tool like this, like that, this fits these absolutely perfect. Goes from underneath, and you can press it out. Now when you're pressing them out, use a spanner, don't use your gun, because inside there's little needle bearings and they can split and damage, and you don't want to be damaging them because we're going to have to be reusing it again. And as you're pressing it out, just work it back and two, and they will come out nice and easy. Right, now once we've separated it, this bottom bucket, providing you've cleaned it correctly, should just pull out with your fingers, but be extra careful, like I've said to you, because there is little needle bearings in there. Now, a little bit of magic. Let me put my camera back on me. Should be able to twist it and pull that out. Now be careful with that other bucket, because you want to keep them in the same order that they came off. Once that prop shaft is now separated, get your drill again, and that bolt in the centre there, we need to give it a damn good cleaneroonie and give it a little bit of a lubrication. You don't need much of this stuff, it lasts ages, and I mean ages. Yeah. Right, let's get this other little piece of the prop shaft off. Once that nut is now removed, now I can't remember whether these are on a master spline, so what we've done, we've marked it. Whenever you're doing anything like this, always just mark it. It's not going to hurt, is it? That should just pull off. I'm going to put that now. Oh, there's a little washer just dropped out. Be careful that you don't lose anything like this. Let's get this centre prop shaft bearing off now. Now what you need, well, you can either use a puller, like so, or you can get a great big chisel and a little bit of hammer. I found this one on the bench. It's pathetic, these hammers are. We're going to give it a tap and it should pop off, fingers crossed. Well, that come off a little bit easier than I thought. Let's go ahead now and we're going to get this new prop shaft bearing on. But before we do, make sure you give everything a nice cleaner in with some 3M Scotch pad. And we're going to use a little bit of lube. When you're doing stuff like this, lubrication is always going to help you. Make sure that you put it on the right way round. Get your socket. And we're going to tap it on. And you should hear it going dunk. When it goes at dunk, that you know when it's home. That's it. Simple as that. That is now home and fitted. Beautiful. Now when assembling things like this, like these RD splicers, make sure that these buckets are absolutely spotless. And also the joint itself. See how it's nice and clean in there? I haven't cleaned that one. It's dirty. Now ideally, these should just slide in and take a little bit of a tap. You shouldn't have to force them in. But make sure that everything is nice and clean. And again, as I keep saying, lubrication is going to be your best to give everything a bit of a chance. And there we have it, just with a little bit of magic now, that prop shaft is all built back up and ready to go back on this vehicle. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of a time lapse fitting it. Now after that prop shaft is fitted and we're happy with everything, it would be absolutely rude not to give all these universal joints a bit of a grease. Get your grease gun, pump them up just until you can hear the grease escaping, and do that on all 3 joints. And there you have it, that is one centre prop shaft bearing replacement. Look at that now, nice and smooth. Perfect. Right, let's get this vehicle off the ramp. And just like that, that car is now all done. And you know what? It's kind of nice to do some old school mechanicking where it involved grease guns and pressing RD splicers out, and you know, I love that sort of stuff. It's brilliant. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video. Let's get it sent.